Okay folks, here's a quick review of the Storm Shadow figure that was produced by Hasbro as part of the GI Joe Retaliation line of products. This was part of the Cobra Invasion Team 3-pack that also included a Firefly figure and a Cobra Invasion Trooper figure. And I picked up the set at Target for $19.99. Okay, so when I first got this figure out of its box, I liked the overall appearance. Even though this isn't what Storm Shadow looked like in the GI Joe Retaliation film, it's still a nice looking costume. Paint apps were done pretty well for the most part on this figure, with only one slight smudge on the right side of his mask. The articulation joints on this figure worked pretty well. I had no problem in moving the head, shoulders, elbows, wrists, mid-torso, hips, knees, or ankles. The large collar on his uniform seems to restrict the head articulation somewhat, and the ankle articulation on this figure is restricted due to what I believe are the drooping pant legs around his ankles. The hip articulation, that felt somewhat loose, but not enough so to cause me a great deal of concern. So what I'll do here is pause, zoom in, and I'll give you a closer look as to what Storm Shadow looks like. Okay. Storm Shadow comes with some accessories, so let me pan down real quick and I'll show you what they are. The figure stand that you see him standing on was not included in the package and was purchased by me separately. Okay, first up, here are his swords. These are a Shoto and a Ninjato, and I believe these swords were carried over from the Renegade's Storm Shadow figure that I previously reviewed, except the handles are now colored black and not brown. Okay, and finally, here are some more accessories. We have an arrow right here, a compound bow, and a quiver. Now the quiver and the arrow were also carried over from the Renegade Storm Shadow figure, but the arrow has gotten a slight paint touch-up showing red feathers and a black shaft. The Arashikage logo on the quiver is now color black, and I'll be honest with you, I wish Hasbro had left that alone, and it looked much better with the Renegade Storm Shadow figure when it was colored in that orange. There are sheaths on the arrow quiver, which will allow you to store the swords on the figure if you so choose, just like it was with the Renegade's Storm Shadow figure. The compound bow accessory, I believe that's been included with quite a few GI Joe Pursuit of Cobra figures in the past, if I remember correctly, but I'll be honest, I can't remember exactly which ones had that accessory. Alright, back to the figure itself. What I'll do now is a quick 360 of Storm Shadow for you and let you see what he looks like from all sides. Okay. So overall, this Storm Shadow figure, it's not that bad. I like the look of the costume, and I felt that he came with an appropriate amount of accessories. The only gripes that I do have about this version of Storm Shadow are the restricted head articulation and the restricted ankle articulation. And as always, I wish that Hasbro would resume including figure stands with these GI Joe figures. But in spite of that, this figure, I think it deserves a good bordering on great recommendation. This version of Storm Shadow, it's not bad, as I said, but I'll be honest, the Renegade Storm Shadow figure, that remains my favorite Storm Shadow display from the more current GI Joe figures that Hasbro has produced recently. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.